Hello everybody, welcome to another live coding session. This time I will be focusing on the support for title bar customization in Uno platform. This is a wide topic because there is multiple facets to it. You have multiple targets that we are targeting, and each has its own platform specific implementation of status bar or title bar and its customization. So it's not a completely straightforward task. So I will, for today, just get started at least with some basics, and then we'll evolve it over time so that we get where we want to be over time. So just let me improve the lighting here. One interesting factoid from recent developments is that I finally figured out the issue that was with the calendar date picker that we started like 2 live coding sessions ago. And the reason the calendar date picker was failing miserably under Fluent styles was actually completely unrelated to calendar date picker. And it was because the calendar date picker under Fluent styles was referencing the brushes which are here. Let me find it just quickly. It's Uno UI, Microsoft UI brush Xaml Media, reveal brush. It was using a reveal brush, but previously the reveal brush was not implemented here. It was just throwing an exception. Well, basically it wasn't even here. The override wasn't here. And the base method of this get paint inner was implemented to throw not supported exception, which resulted in the fact that the reveal brush, when it was used or it was referenced, it caused this exception that short-circuited the arranged cycle of the calendar date picker. So the calendar was trying to render the dates, but it failed immediately because of this exception. So the arrange for calendar never finished, and this was causing it not to display properly under Fluent styles. So it was completely unrelated. Now we are using the fallback color instead of throwing an exception, and it works perfectly. So that was the simplest solution to a very annoying issue. So I'm glad it's now taken care of and it's fixed, and hopefully it will improve the calendar support on Android, which was very broken before. So that's that. So let me just open here. See, there are some comments, but I don't see them properly. So let me see if I can display here. Okay. Where do I have the comments? Here we go. Oh, hello everybody. Hello. Thank you for joining. Hopefully I will see the comments later in the interface here, but I don't see them right now. But yeah, hopefully over time. So let's get started on the main topic. So I will, first off, I will just find the title bar customization under UWP, as well as under WinApp SDK, because those are two different things. And ideally, we would like to be able to customize the title bar on both WinUI and UWP. So I'll just search for this here. So in case of WinApp SDK, you first need to get the app window of the current WinUI window, and through that app window you can customize the title bar property, which contains things like background color, foreground color, and stuff like that. So this we don't support at all yet. So we need to add support for it for the WinUI version of Uno Platform, not for the UWP version, because UWP version has a completely different approach. And I'm not sure if this is, no, this is the same article. We want this one, I think. Because in UWP, we are using application view title bar. Yes, this one. And this guy contains the same properties, just in a different location. So it's essentially the same thing, just located in a different location. And it's named differently. So in WinUI, this same thing, oh, let me ungroup this. So these two classes have essentially the same set of, well, this one seems to have more properties because it combines two different things, but for the customization of color, it's the same thing basically. So the implementation for those two will be very similar. Right. And we actually, I think we do support some of these things, at least the background color for WebAssembly already, but we don't support it properly on the other targets. So I'm thinking what would be the best one to start with today, and maybe Android would be okay. Let's see. Maybe let's start with Android because it's easy to debug locally. Plus, we will be able to see it on a actual mobile device. So it's nice start, I think. So I got title bar customization, and I will just check if we do have some samples that are showing this functionality in real life. So samples. Not here. And there's also core application view title bar, but that's a completely different thing as far as I know. That doesn't have the colors. Yes, that's basically I think the properties here in App Window title bar in WinApp SDK are a combination of application view title bar and core application view title bar. That seems to make sense. So let's see, application view title bar. I don't see there a sample that would showcase switching colors. It's unfortunate. Maybe here, I made a PR before for the WebAssembly part of this, but I think it's not, there was no sample for it. Oh, there is title bar color tests. So we can use this one to check if we have the implementation working on Android. That's good. So first off, let's go to the title bar color tests. And there we have this sample that sets a color that the user picks as the title bar background color. So let's call it background color. And let's set it foreground color, so we have both. I'll just test if the chat is working from the user interface here. So, seems that new messages will be appearing, so that's good. All right, so set background color will be this one, and let's do the same thing for foreground color. Okay, so very simple, simple sample that will show us if we are able to switch colors of the title bar. Plus I need to rename this to foreground. Right. Right, so the thing that I will take my inspiration from is the Uno UI toolkit, or Uno toolkit, GitHub. I have to search for it because I don't remember. Yeah, toolkit UI, this one, because we already have some helper methods that allow you to easily set the background and foreground of the toolbar. You just need to figure out where it was. I think it was here, status bar. And this one has the foreground, this has the background here, and then the implementation of this is in these Android and iOS specific files. So what we shall do here is to implement this properly inside of Uno platform instead of having it as a separate helper in toolkit. So I think that this one seems to be, what is this? Status bar. Ah, status bar class. That's something I wasn't aware of. Okay, so status bar. Right, so there is also status bar in UWP, and that refers to this like status area of the window. So maybe in case of Android and iOS, it makes sense for the title bar and status bar to have the same colors and same values, because the title, there is essentially no title bar of the window. There is just a status bar. So these two probably should be the same. And we do have the implementation on this, seems to be a status bar on Android. Yeah. So there's foreground. Okay, so foreground type and status bar foreground type set. Okay, it seems that on Android the foreground can have only a light or dark theme. There is no way to set a custom color completely. Let's verify that. Status bar color. But that's probably the background, not the foreground. I think that was here, yes. So that's the background color of the status bar. But anyways, okay, we can do this as well. Oh, okay, let's maybe one more thing. Let's check if this has a sample inside of the samples app. It doesn't seem so. So, well, that makes sense to add this here as well. So, title bar, background color, title bar, foreground color. And status bar, background color, and foreground color. So even though the methods will be doing a very similar thing, because the backing OS support will be the same thing, the same status bar, we will support both approaches so that you don't have to write platform specific for it. So just need to grab that status bar here, get foreground view and foreground color. Oh, what am I doing right? I need to do this differently. I need to have, oh, I'll just copy these. So title bar, status bar. This is copy pasting, but it's not a big deal because this is just a sample app. So this is just for testing of those features. So it's not a big problem to copy paste stuff. It doesn't have to be completely beautiful. So yes, so this one, yeah, it's probably conflict. So status bar here and get foreground view, foreground color. Right, so this is formatting issue and we should be good to go. Those underlines are just fake false positive issues where Visual Studio is not able to figure out that Uno view group, which is a native Java object from the binding library, is actually it exists. It basically exists because currently, well, the implementation is there. It's just that Visual Studio cannot figure it out and is throwing these false positive errors. Like this is the implementation and it gets compiled, but yeah, it's annoying, but it is what it is. So nothing can be done about it. Anyways, so let's go to actually implement and if something. So let's do this status bar background color, which should be very easy to do. So let's see. So get background color, and maybe because it will be shared implementation with the title bar, let's move it to some shared location. So not directly in status bar, but let's create a helper for it. So we have the status bar here, and we have the title bar. That's this one, and that's in application view title bar. So let's do helpers. Status bar helper, and yeah, let's do it Android specific. Put it into Uno. namespace so it doesn't clash with the public APIs in Windows. And let's make it static, and let's name this. Let's create a method that will set background color. And a method that will set foreground color. And let's implement this one first. So this one has a very simple implementation for the background. You just take the current activity, take its window, and set the color to a value like this. So nothing too complicated there. And this has to be static, of course. So set background color. We could even make it a property. This might be better. So color get census bar color. And this is there's a conversion somehow from the int color to okay, so this one I'm not sure how to convert from the int version of the color to be UI color, but anyway, let's do this first. So the setter is easy. Like this. Set status bar color. So that's fine, because it expects a Android graphics color. But now how do we get the color as well? Because this is getting it as an int. There is a conversion there. I'm not sure where it was, but it is somewhere. Let's see. Maybe we can do it like this. What is this? Graphics, right. Okay, not like that. Thank you for the follow. So if anyone knows how to do this conversion, then please let me know, because I am currently a little bit lost. And it's something very easy because we have done this before, but I can't remember right now. How to convert. Right. There must be some kind of C# or version of this already. Hmm. So I'm surprised we don't have it in there somewhere already. Let's search for this, this string, because I'm sure I've done this before. UI color helper. So this is one for iOS. Yeah, I often forget to use the Copilot and then reach for ChatGPT just kind of automatically, you know, a learning curve. But yes, maybe I should switch to using Copilot more. It tends to work well, even though in some cases it just gives you answers that are not completely related to your specific code. It just kind of forgets about the context, which is annoying. Ah, right. Good. This works. Oh yeah, that was a Copilot thingy. So is it, just verify if we are doing it in the right order. So alpha is the first one, and yeah, okay. ARGB. So that should be fine. So yeah, I added this helper for now here. And I'm quite sure there was a place where this was already happening. So maybe someone will let me know during the code review. And yeah, if activity do. So I need to make sure that this is not null yet. This is not null. So otherwise we want to return colors. Let's see, transparent maybe, as just a fallback. And let's do it like this. Okay. So this should take care of setting the background color and getting the background color off the status bar. And now let's plug it into the actual code here. So status bar helper, set background color, or get background color, and right, like this. One more thing. There is background opacity, which seems to be something that should be part of the color. So what maybe would make sense to do is to do something like status bar helper opacity alpha. like this, and the setter would do something like this with opacity. Yes, with opacity of value. That's, yeah. Right, but yeah, this is update, like taking the existing alpha value and creating a new one with opacity, which is multiple for existing ones. So maybe this should be better. So should be or maybe let's do it as a method, as an actual body, as it's not gonna be a one-liner. Or do I actually want this? So if the existing one has, yeah, that makes sense. It should be part of the color. So existing, so we get the new color here. So from RGB, it's gonna be value times existing color RGB. This way we should be getting the proper value, and then we again set the color to the updated color. So this one is complaining because the color can be null. That's interesting. So I don't sure what should be set when it's null, so I would go with, for now, with colors transparent. Okay, and that should be the Android version of this. So for now I'm keeping it in this shared file, so it would be applied to iOS and WebAssembly as well. That wouldn't compile, so that will need to be fixed. I will have to move these to statusbar.android, but for now it should be fine, at least for the test of this. So that would be, when you verify this, of course, the background via status bar, and then we will do the same thing for the title bar background color, which should be somewhere here. Yeah, this one. So we will implement this one via the status bar helper. It's currently implemented only on WebAssembly, so we have the background color implementation here. So in the meantime, I will maybe open the WinUI version of Uno platform code base and pre-open the title bar code from there. So it should be title bar. How was it called? It was up window title bar, right? Up window title bar, this one. just take this one and I will create a stub for it. Yeah, but the application should be running, so let's go to title bar. Ah, right. There's this odd error that we have in the samples app when you're typing and press the enter button, it fails, and I am not completely sure why is that happening, but we need to fix it. So title bar background color is not working, but status bar background should be. So yeah, it's now setting the background color of the title bar, and it should keep it in this configuration as well. So that's good. So yeah, that part is working. I will. So what is this? We have to check what is this doing. But it's failing definitely. So now we take application view title bar Android, implement the same thing there. Basically we can take the implementation from the status bar. Here. So this implementation, take it and bring it here. It's also nullable, so that's good. Partial. Remove the superfluous usings. And that should be it. Just need to mark this one as not Android. And we should be good to go. Right, so that should be the implementation for application view title bar. And we should maybe take care of the breaking change that we did here. So I will take these, put them in the Android specific file. And now undo the changes here. So these two will be marked as if not Android and if here. All right, so that seems to be all good. And now let's, well, I can test it afterwards, but let's do the WinApp SDK version now. I'll put this to be vertical so we can see all the buttons later. And spacing. Just making the sample a little bit nicer to view. Okay, so my first step will be to take this app window title bar class and put a stub of it into the code base here. And we have currently two versions of the source code. One is for UWP, which contains the UWP specific classes, and one is for WinUI, where we have the WinUI WinApp SDK specific classes which are not in UWP. So there are two different flavors of Uno platform, and we need to currently maintain both of them at the same time. So it's a little bit tricky, especially when you have these APIs which are specific to WinApp SDK and are not on UWP. So what I will do is I will create this new one in the right folder, which is Windows Microsoft UI windowing. And it's app window title bar. And I will keep for now just what I actually need for this case, which is the background color. So let's just delete everything except for that. Oh, foreground color I will keep. Might come in handy later, but we have background color here. And maybe this one as well. Customization supported, because that one tells us if we can actually use this class. And what I will need to do later, but not now, is to wrap this file in if has Uno WinUI, because this will be WinUI code tree specific class. It will not be showing up on UWP. But for now, for testing, let's keep it here. So background color will be implemented using status bar helper, background color, status bar helper, background color equals value. Maybe let's make this one nullable itself, so we can make this a little bit simpler to do. So transparent, colors transparent. We can just get rid of that logic. All right. This is now nullable, so we need to do this. Oh, let's do it like this. Color, or otherwise we have just opacity of no opacity, because it's transparent. Yes, and this can be null, so we use colors transparent as a substitute, but we can get rid of this, and we can get rid of the application view title bar on Android. We can get rid of this logic here. Okay. So for this one, I will just move this into an Android specific file. Microsoft UI windowing. Get partial. And that should be it. And is the customization supported? There we should make it platform specific also. So in case of Android, we will return true. And for the foreground, we still have it here, but we will implement later. So to do. And now we have also the title bar customization on WebAssembly, which is here. And we could use it for the app window title bar as well. So let's simplify things a little bit. I will we create a title bar helper on WebAssembly. And that will be used for title bar customization on WebAssembly. And again, they used across the app window title bar and the application view title bar. I get no syntax highlighting here because I'm in Android specific compilation target, but I'm currently in WebAssembly file, which is excluded from compilation on Android. So that's why there is no proper syntax highlighting showing up. But now the implementation of WebAssembly in application title bar application view title bar will be quite simple. It will be just something along these lines. Title bar helper. And background color. Set it value, and that's it. And now that I'm thinking of it, maybe it would be better to just rename this one to title bar helper as well, so it's kind of aligned everywhere. So unless we will need the status bar somewhere. Like, is there a platform where you have a title bar as well as a status bar? Like, not currently, I think. Maybe on macOS you would have it, but you couldn't customize status bar anyway, I think. But anyways, let's keep it for now. But maybe the rename will be better to keep it the same everywhere. So let's continue here. So WebAssembly part is implemented here, and now we do the same implementation from application view title bar and move it to the app window title bar. Let's keep the same namespace as the previous one, and we actually need to have this one as well. And that should be enough. So there are some missing usings and stuff like that, but we will take care of that after we switch to WebAssembly. But for now, let's do some finishing touches on the Android one. So to get the app window title bar on WinApp SDK, you need an app window, which we don't have yet. So I will take this one, the whole thing, put it here. App windows, yes. And I don't need most of it, just a small fragments. So I need the constructor probably. I will need a title if you want to customize the title bar, title of the window. Window ID, not, maybe yes, but we will definitely need this property of title bar, because that retrieves the application app window title bar, of course. I will just initialize it like this. And I will need a way to get the app window. And that happens in somewhere in here. Get from window ID. So to get an app window on WinApp SDK, you first need to get the window ID identifier of your window. And then based of it, you will get the app window itself. To keep things simple, for the sake of this sample, we can have just a single instance, because we currently have a single window in Uno platform as well, even though that will be changing soon, probably. So we can probably ignore this ulong value, yeah. So we can probably ignore this and just return a static instance for now. So we'll return this. And yeah, with that in mind, we should be able to actually use this API to set the title bar. So let's just test it in our sample app. And again, this will be later WinUI specific, so right. We'll need to add this here, need to add this here, and here as well. So now in here, I will create 2 more buttons. So I can differentiate between those 2. App window, app window. So this is application view or app view. Same here for app window. So app window, and app window. So for simplicity, I will just take this, get from window ID, and pass in default, because that should be fine. And the title bar is there, and then I set the background color. And the same thing for foreground color. Yeah. So let's try to build this. and see what happens. Ah, this one is still not passing CI. There are some things still missing. The Power Manager PR that we tried to finish up last time. There is still something problematic there. Yeah, okay, so this method is not there. I will have to take a look onto it, but not a priority right now. Ah, okay. So there is no scrolling, so I cannot scroll, but let's see. If I set the title bar color to this, let's set this to FF and set it again here. So you can see that the title bar color from app view as well as from app window is now working fine. So that's very cool and nice. So I will probably just save this, and what I will do is to make wrap this in scroll viewer so we can see all the options. And now let's do the fixes, kind of. So for now we had this enabled for WinU for UWP codebase as well, but we want this only in WinUI version. So wrapping this. So now these are only WinUI specific. Actually, these should be also WinUI specific, but for now they are available in UWP version of the codebase as well. Not sure why it was done so, but we should probably adjust it. Okay, so we have implemented the background for Android on status bar, on title bar, on application view title bar, as well as app window title bar. And one more thing that I could do probably today is the title, because we have that implemented in application view here. So it's setting the title of the current activity. But it's not implemented in, yes, it's not implemented in app window, so we can probably do that. Basically it's the same implementation like this as this. For simplicity, maybe we can even do something like, so yeah, let's do it application specific, Android specific. Or maybe let's do it even simpler for now. So in case you use the title on WinApp SDK, you could just forward it to application view get for current view title, at least for now, until we have multi-window support. And that should be perfectly fine because we have that implemented on all targets except for iOS, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's except for iOS. Application view, generated title, yeah, here. So it's everywhere, yeah, except these, which are not really used. Everywhere except of iOS. So I think I can just mark this as if not iOS, and that should be all good. So that brings us the title of app window. And yeah, so the next interesting thing will be to properly implement this get from window ID later, but for now it's not relevant because we have just a single window. So I think we can just keep it not implemented and just return that static instance for now. So what else? What else? I could get started on the iOS part, but I am not really sure if that's... I wouldn't be able to show it right now because I don't have my Mac set up properly. So maybe one more thing that I could do is to take the foreground color implementation from here and move it to the status bar helper. So yeah, let's copy it from here, move it here. These methods are not relevant anymore. And there was set status bar foreground type. That must go here. Yes, foreground color must be static because it's a static helper. Get status bar foreground type. That method is not there yet, so this whole thing. It should be okay. And this one is used in show async, hide async. Okay, so it should make this internal. Ah, right, because we have it still here, so this goes away. And this should be to the status bar helper. So we delegate this to the status bar helpers to that shared location. And we probably got rid of that update. Oh, here it is. So update system UI visibility. And we need to have this available even here, so I will just move that type away. Okay. So this this status bar helper will have one additional property. Status bar foreground type. So that the status bar can then know which foreground type was set last. Yeah, so that should be fine. And finally, in here, we place the references to this one with the status bar helper. Not like this, but rather it should be here, and in here we set it status bar helper foreground type, and here foreground type. So that should be all we need. And hopefully now we'll be able to set the foreground based on what the user selects. And why did I change this one? That shouldn't have been platform specific. Let's see, status bar, foreground color. Okay, so previously was yeah, so that was the same implementation for iOS and Android, it seems. So both Android and iOS have only dark or light status bar, so that's why the implementation was there, but we can keep it hidden inside of that status bar helper, so that's fine. We change it. We will change it for iOS later. So that should be okay, and we should be able to build this. Except for a lot of errors, which are because I forgot to do something very simple, probably. Yes, this guy. Oh, of course, because we need to get the instance. This is not a static method. So get for current view. And we need to use type of status bar helper, and that should be it. Actually, it would be interesting to understand how this works later when you have multi-window support in your application for Android, because then you could have multiple windows showing up at the same time, sharing one title bar, and I'm not sure what happens in that case. That's interesting question. I'm not completely sure. We need to check that, but for now we don't support multiple activities, multiple windows of the app, so it's not a deal breaker. But yeah, that's gonna be added soonish. So stay tuned for that, because I'm currently working on improving that multi XAML root support in WinUI or in Uno platform. So you will be able to have multiple XAML roots, not only on Skia WPF, but in general in Skia targets, and then I can bring this same approach to mobile targets, which would then allow for multi-window applications potentially. So it's something that is coming, but it's hard to estimate how long it will take. But it's something that's very exciting to work on, because it's a lot of things coming together, and because originally Uno was built as a single window framework, and then mobile targets added support for multiple windows. It's interesting that many things need to be adjusted properly to actually work in multi-window environment. So title bar foreground color, app window foreground, it's not working so far. So yeah, so status bar foreground, because we changed it only for the status bar, but that one worked. So now we just need to delegate to the status bar helper from application view title bar and from app window title bar. Okay, which one is it? Here we go. So if not Android, and if, and let's take this, put it here, and just simply do status bar helper. And status bar helper color value, and that should be it. So that is adding support for application view title bar, and finally the same thing for app window title bar, just like this, exactly the same code, just in app window, and yeah, that should be okay. That was quite simple actually. So let's remove this, and I will let the UnoSync generator to generate the stubs for other platforms which are not implemented. But for now, this is good. I think we have handled quite a lot of things in that short window of time, and I will be wrapping it up today for now, because it's quite late and I need to do some other stuff. So thank you for joining. I will create a draft PR for the changes that we done today, but next time we will continue and we will do the iOS version of this. So I will prepare my Mac and we will do iOS version. Then we will do probably WPF, which will be easier, and the more complex one will be GTK. But once we have all these, we will be able to customize the title bar on all the Uno platform targets, which would be very exciting. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, so thank you for joining again, and see you next time. Bye bye.